What's up, Studs Canal here, Bulls on Wall Street. Guys, we got a lot to uncover in this market. I mean, we've had just a couple nasty days of, I wouldn't say red or anything like that, right? But we had a nasty Thursday, and then we've just kind of had two inside days. This is to be expected with the election and kind of all the stuff that's going on. You know, people are waiting to make their bets, and everybody's getting hedged, and it was all HFT City and Algo City today for the most part. The Qs was in a super tight range. We really had, almost no action. We had a nice pop in the morning. We filled the gap, and it looked like maybe we're going to catch a little bit of a trend, and then whamp. And then it looked like we were going to rug, and then whamp. And that's range trading in a nutshell, all right? When you're stuck in range, what's going to happen is when the market looks great, it's going to rug. And when the market looks like it's going to rug, it's going to, go back the other way. And that's what we're seeing right here, right? And why that is of course the election and all this kind of inflation reports and Fed and all this kind of stuff. But on a technical level, because we're technical traders, right? We're in a moving average sandwich. We are above key support, but we're below key resistance spots. And so we are in a sandwich, and they call that the penis in between us. It's the worst spot to be in. It's like sitting in the back seat of your buddy's Volkswagen, right in the middle. You're not right nut, you're not left nut, you're in the middle, and it's a terrible spot to be in for a handful of days till it resolves itself, right? And overall, look, the primary trend in the market is still higher, but we are stuck in a longer term range, and we have been since July, and that's just something that, we have to really understand. Inside that range, we've had some very awesome volatility to the downside and upside, but in reality, right, we've just been in a box for quite some time, and that box will resolve itself in no time, right? In the next, a handful of weeks, we'll probably get a little bit of a clearer direction. If you look at the IWM, right, you're also just stuck right in the box. And this is this is even worse than the backseat of your buddy's Volkswagen, right? This would be like if you were in the backseat of your Volkswagen, but you were sandwiched in between, two big smelly fatties, right? That's what that would be like, right? It would be not comfortable, and so the IWM is not much really to do. We just got to kind of ignore it and move forward. The SPY, just sitting here on your 50-day moving average, we don't have too much to go on this, except we're over support. That's great. Right, that's a buenos, and we're under resistance, and this will all resolve itself too. Look, the primary trend is still higher, but on a macro picture, right, there's some chop. So you want to do is stick with catalyst. When the market is like this, you want to stick with catalyst. That's the name of the game. Stay away from just regular charts. Like you see something, you're like, wow, let me trade AMD, or hey, let me trade some Microsoft. That's not going to work, right? Because you're just kind of stuck in the box, and it's like, all right, there's not really any oomph to go up or down. What we want to be doing is thinking about themes. What are the themes that we've had? We've had cryptos. We've had nuclear. Now those are fizzling off. Those were the Trump trades. DJT, Tesla, these are Trump trades. They were starting to fizzle off. Then they caught a bid end of day, right? And so we've got some action in there, right? Like DJT was left for dead, and then, right, we caught a bid, and we started to push. And, like coin, like I was shorting this thing because I thought, here we go to the downside. And we were nice little trend on this thing, right? Nice little trend. And then it goes, wham. And then look, once it looks good, it goes wham and goes back the other way. Sound effects come with our membership, of course. And same thing with MSTR, right? You have, just a nasty little range and, just kind of drifting down here. But then inside it, like you get these big squeezes and fades. And so, that's where the action is in these kind of stocks. But look, we've got earnings season out, and there's some damn good ones that I think we can keep mind of. So look, DJT will be in play tomorrow. We want to add this thing onto the watch list. I do believe post-election it's a sell the news play. I personally do more revenues and profits than DJT by probably a significant amount. If that's all you have to know about this thing, right? And I ain't got no billionaire. I ain't, Canal Desai Inc. ain't no Billy, right? So let's jam this thing. Let it push tomorrow, 40, 45. If we got 50, man, that'd be sick. If Trump got elected, maybe what if it gapped up all the way here? Then we'd get the epic fade off. Oh man, that'd pay some. That would pay. All right. In the meantime, it'll be a good day trader tomorrow. Add it to the list. A-Lab. I love the overall look of this thing. You have a flag breakout over here. It's got earnings out. If you look here, Astrolab surged 19%. Net income 0.23. Look at this. Analysts expected 0.17. Revenue for the quarter 113, up from 36 the year before. And you got an IPO breakout in the works here at 95. Dude, that's a good look to it. Vimeo got some news out over here too. And dude, you're at a really sweet spot, big sweet spot on this. Check this out here. You have yourself this awesome spot right here, right? You got yourself, this is a weekly chart. You got 575, something like that. It's just a huge multi-year breakout. It reminds me a little bit about like Peloton, where you just have, right, that big dump and then the Nike swoosh, and then you kind of can come out of that. Now, will it ever get back to 60? Hell no. But could we get it to maybe 10, 8, something along that end? Sure. Why not, right? Airy. Look, we want to keep a couple of these solar names on in case, if Kamala wins, the theory is, right, it's good for solar. I don't know if that's the case or not. Solar stocks were really hot, and they've not been hot when Biden's been around, right? So I don't know if that's the trade or not, but these things are cheap. They've been basing out for years at this point, right? Just going down. There's a bid on these the last couple days, 13 million shares. You got a range break here. I think it's got a good look to it. Palantir, this is going to be a popular one tomorrow. Probably a little bit harder to trade than an A-Lab because everybody's going to be watching it. It's probably going to do 200, 300 million shares in volume tomorrow. So it's going to move. It's going to be Algo City all over this thing. So just keep that in the back of your mind. It is a earnings breakout. They beat on earnings, and they did a triple bagger. They beat, and then I believe they raised too. So you can out profit, and then they raised its full year guidance. That's the holy trinity there. It's like you want to beat on your EPS, you want to beat on the sales, and then you want to raise. And that's what people like to see. If you couple that with the IPO breakout, I mean, that's hot. Now, look, this thing is thick, man. It's a thick, juicy one, man. It grinds. It's got a 2 billion share float. So, keep that in the back of your head. It's not going to be an easy trade. But, hey, man, here we are. Now, look. You got yourself HIMS over here, right? TAS. You got also a pretty big beat on this bad boy, too. If you look here, right, dude, these guys did, we saw revenue up 77% year over year, blah, blah, blah. Now, look, they've been beating on estimates and growing revenues like crazy for a while, and it's still been stuck for a little bit. But you've got this 26 mark. I wonder if we can get there, right? We're in the right environment for these mid-cap names to start taking off. You've got a breakout spot here at 23. I think this is, top of the list for most of us tomorrow. It's also just a good trader. Hey, this Lumens is a big smelly piece of turd, but it's got a nice breakout spot right there, about 760. Let's keep an eye on that one. And, I've been putting this MDGL on the watch list for the last handful of days. But frankly, and I love the overall breakout on this, but if it gaps up tomorrow, 340, 350, I think we take it down for a short. Show what a little American justice looks like. The 9 EMA is at 260 on this thing. So, if you gap up, you might be $100 over the 9 EMA. That, to me, is a very high-level potential rubber band short. It's still a pretty low market cap, and it's a low float, too. So it can go farther than you think. but I would only be interested if it gaps up. I want to stretch that rubber band out. And if we do it, I think we got a shot on this. If it has a weak open, then I think we leave it alone. NCLH, this had an earnings beat over here, and then, it's pulled back. It's retesting the breakout spot. I think you're in for a good spot here. It holding the 9 EMA and the breakout spot. You got 2 layers of support right there. These guys also beat on earnings. I think this is probably one to watch. Netflix is the only large cap name that's really been holding up here. It's having a lot of trouble at the 765. At this point, with all these kind of wicks and stuff that it's doing, I would only be interested if it broke out, say 762, and then retested, made a higher low, and then took out. I wouldn't chase the exact breakout on it, because most likely it just gets rugged, and then you're just like, you're left holding the bag. So leave that alone unless it breaks out and then pulls back. AMSC had an inside day after that big push, right? You got a nice low range day. Really tight range on this compared to the previous day. Like, you've got yourself that's your classic inside day. Same thing with the MBLY, right? You go from 12 to 16, and then look at the tight range on this, right? It moved basically 25 cents for most of the day. That to me is a coiled up move. Like, when you get extended and you just pull back a little bit and you do it in a really tight range where like most of the drop is just in the first few minutes, that to me, I think, is a good sign that this has got a chance to go higher. And then, keep an eye on LSCC. This is like the only semiconductor that refuses to go up, in the last couple years. But it's got a longer term kind of rollover here. If it can take out this 40, you're clearing multiple years of range. Not the ideal spot because it's already down 17%. And I don't think it takes down the semiconductor market. It's only a $7 billion market cap, but it's got a good look to it. So I want to stick with these catalyst names, because don't worry about election, who's winning, who's not winning. Don't stress yourself out about all that stuff. The best thing to do is just work on your own trading. The only person that controls how much money they make is you. The government controls how much they take from you. But, in the end, you can always go out and make more money. It's just the way it goes. Let's not stress about it too much. We trade the price action, and tomorrow we shred, we rage.